Time for a bathroom movie review. I just saw a movie that not only surprised me, but was way different than I was expecting. And that movie is The Long Walk.
You boys are the answer. The Long Walk is the answer.
This film is based on the book written by Stephen King, the author of horror, crazy situations, all the above. Apparently he started writing it in 1966 when he was only 19, but he would not finish it or publish it for another 10 years. The premise was inspired by Stephen King's fears about the Vietnam War. The director of this film is Francis Lawrence. He's directed some big films like every film on the Hunger Games series, as well as I Am Legend with Will Smith, all movies which I love. The premise is set in an alternate version of history in the aftermath of some great war, and America is broken, weak, and the economy has tanked. And in this very depressed, bleak world, they decided to do an annual tradition. Have one young man from each state come walk as far as they can, and in the end, the winner who walked the furthest and the longest gets a wish and basically enough money to last for a lifetime. The only catch is, since there's only one winner, 49 other people have to die. That's right, if you drop below 3 miles per hour, or try to run away, or fight back, you get shot. And killed, if that wasn't obvious. But the interesting thing is, these are all volunteers. All these young men put in for a lottery for the chance to do this tradition, for the chance to win big. And this is all overseen by a character known as the Major, a ruthless and kind of dictator-seeming person, played by yours truly, Mark Hamill. And for those of you that don't know who that is, Luke Skywalker. And for those of you that don't know who that is,
you got some work to do.
The two leads are played by Cooper Hoffman and David Jamson. Fun fact, Cooper Hoffman is actually the son of Philip Seymour Hoffman. Did I get that right? But yeah, it's his son. And the cool thing is, the director worked with his father in the Hunger Games, so, kind of a neat moment. As I said before, this film is not at all what I expected. I mean, did I expect it to be demented and graphic at times? Yes. But there's a lot more that I didn't expect. So let's get into it. Here's what I liked about this film. Literally the whole movie, from the time they started walking, which is really early on, I just kept asking myself, could this ever happen in real life? Would this happen? Could we get so lost as a country that we'd be okay with this? It drove me crazy the whole film. And this is a sign that it is a great movie, because it had me thinking these things, and had me pretty freaked out. And for a movie that's just about walking, and walking, and walking some more, it was very intense. My buddy was with me, and he falls asleep 9 out of 10 times when we see a movie. It's his nap time, as he says. He was awake the whole movie. That speaks for itself. So the feelings that I felt, say that 3 times fast. Feelings that I felt. What's up? But I felt so many different things. I thought it was just going to be scary and demented, which it had those moments, but there was a lot more emotion than I was expecting. We see this band of 50 people slowly get smaller, and we see these bonds made. People become friends, and some are like brothers by the end, which makes it all the harder to watch. They have deep conversations about why people are okay with this, their thoughts on life, what they'll do if they win the money, and it was much more impactful than I was expecting. I guess I'd define it as heartwarming at times. Yeah, heartwarming, heartfelt, however you want to say it. And that alone upped this movie to new heights. I felt immersed in the film. Not only was I asking myself, could this happen? But I was asking myself, what would I do if I was in their shoes? What would I be thinking? What would I be feeling? And it's been a while since I saw a movie that had me ask questions like that. And just out of curiosity, what movies would you guys recommend to get me thinking more like that? Because there are a lot of movies I still need to see. I also found it very twisted how it's like a game show. I mean, I don't know if you describe it as that, but it's reality television. The whole country's watching. I myself am not a fan of reality TV. There's some I'm okay with. Overall, this really dives into the flaws. And no, in reality TV, we're not murdering people. But this is just showing to an extreme what could happen in a very, very sucky situation for the country. And then the realism really impressed me. Sure, I knew we were going to get people walking. I knew people were going to get shot. You know when you watch those movies when you're younger and you're like, how do these characters go to the bathroom in this situation? It never shows it. Well, in this film, it shows it. Like, all of it. Not only do people get shot and have bloody images, but we get some fecal matter. Yes, I said fecal matter. I'm not going to say anything else. I don't care if this is a bathroom. This is a place of business. And we got to keep it classy. To be honest, this is one of the first times in a while I couldn't think of anything I disliked about this film. So I went to Google to see what everyone else was disliking. So I wanted to review these and see if I think any of them are actually valid. First one. People found it lazy that the characters in the movie said the long walk was to help restore the economy, because apparently there's a boost every year after it's aired on TV. They said this needs an explanation. Now I get it. I like things being explained in movies, but there are some things that just don't need explained. For me, that would not have added to the movie. It would not have added to the feels. It might have taken away from it. Sometimes the mystery makes a better movie. The unknown. So I'm going to say that critique is pfft. The next one, critics accused it of not being realistic as far as the lack of sleep and how long they walked for. Okay, so my thoughts on this. I mean, we see characters leaning on their buddies. Their legs are still moving, but they're somehow getting sleep. Is that realistic? I don't know. Probably not. But it also didn't bother me. And as far as the duration of the walk, I would ask all these critics, have you ever had to walk because if you stopped walking you'd die? Might push you a lot more than you think, This one I don't even get. It said characters lacking depth. Characters lacking depth? We have 50 characters. They introduce us to maybe like a dozen and then really help us get to know like 6 or 7. And to do that all in a 2-hour movie, I think they did a great job. I almost shed a tear at the end because of the brotherhood that you see some of these characters make. Not sure what the critics were wanting, but I felt for what the movie was supposed to be, about a long walk, we got a decent amount of depth and started to understand how some of these characters worked. Other critics called it a grim slog. Obviously, I disagree. I was into it the whole time. And then the last one makes me laugh the most. They claimed the movie did not do a good job of showing characters worn down from all that walking. Now, what I'm about to share, you see in the trailer, but you see a kid's ankle completely broken, his bone sticking out, as he's walking and he's screaming. You see characters collapsing, you see bloody feet, and much more. I mean, did you want them to explode? Just self-destruct? Come on, guys. All in all, I love this film, and it is one of my favorite this year, which, like I said, surprised me. Thought it was just going to be your basic spooky, demented, prep for Halloween type movie. But no, it is much more. And if you guys ever use the bathroom and you like to talk about movies, come back here for more of both. In fact, I'm going to start my own competition. This could be called The Long Sit. Because I sit in here all the time talking about movies. You're not going to beat me.